Small talk, anybody?
My name is Andrew Miller. I'm the Director of Engineering and Quality at Terra Cafe. I've been here for 3.5 years now. Worked on the launch of our TKO2 product.
Quick introduction for myself. My name is Sando Magani, and I'm the founder and CEO of Terra Cafe. And we are here to talk to you about our v33 firmware that is getting released to everyone's TKO2 espresso machines. The first releases, I believe, went out yesterday. Just as a reminder for everyone, that can take up to 2 weeks to hit your machine. And in that time, you should see it hit your touch display or HMI, where you can then accept to download the latest firmware. Again, we're here to answer your questions. I see we have a number of people joining in. But just as a high level, before we get started, we're gonna walk through exactly what the new features are that are going to be hitting your machine shortly. So there are 3 primary changes that you're gonna be getting. The first is a grind through feature. The second is an extended standby time. And the third is a change to the rinse cycle to make it a little bit quieter. Andrew, maybe you can walk through some of the details about what those encompass.
Yeah, so starting with our grind through feature, we heard from our community that we wanted a feature to do a couple different features or options for us, which is 1, grind through the remaining beans when you're ready to switch to another bag if your bean hopper is getting low, or potentially clear that out to switch to another type of coffee. For example, if you want to switch to decaf. And there's also the option to grind through and catch that into your waste bin and store for later use if you use pre-ground coffee for any other coffee appliance in your home.
Before you go into the next one, I will add another detail there, which is it's very interesting to take into consideration where you're thinking about swapping out the beans. One of the reasons why this feature is really important for those people that want to purge out their bean hopper is that most of the espresso machines in the market, regardless of which brand, will have some form of retention in the grinder. The purge function is designed to fully clear out whatever beans were in the system before, so that when you fill up the hopper with net new beans, you're truly getting a completely different shot. Now, maybe you could just walk through quickly the
how to access.
Sorry?
How to access.
How to access? Yeah. Absolutely.
So to access the grind through feature, you're going to head to your settings menu, the additional settings screen, click on the grind through button, and you'll have 2 selections for settings in this menu. The first setting will be your grind size, which is very similar to what you have right now on your espresso and your drip coffee drinks. And you also have what's called repetitions, or the number of times that the machine will grind through. Each repetition will be a dose that's approximately 12 grams. So that gives you an idea of how many grounds you should expect to come through. The machine will grind that into the brew unit and then dump that into the waste bin.
I'm gonna just keep drinking my coffee here. Maybe you can walk everyone through the second feature update, which is our extended standby time for more convenient brewing, if you will.
Yes. As I'm sure most of you know, anyone that has a TK machine, the TKO2 will go into a standby mode where it reduces the thermal block temperature to conserve power consumption. And we received feedback that time was a little bit too short. Over time, we also noticed that here in our office, going in between meetings and going up to the machine and then getting the hang tight screen, or the do you want to purge your water from standby. So we increased that from 30 minutes to 60 minutes to reduce the frequency that you'll run into those alerts and to keep your machine ready to brew in a shorter amount of time. Short amount of time.
Okay, and then let's hit the third one. Just as a reminder for everyone, send in any questions you have on the new features that are coming out, the new firmware. Again, it hasn't hit everyone's machine. It can take up to 2 weeks to hit your machine. We're here to answer your questions, but while we wait for some questions to come through, Andrew, why don't you walk everyone through the third development, which is tied to the rinse cycle?
Absolutely. Our machine will go through a cleaning series which cleans out the milk path and the brew unit path when it goes to its sleep mode. This helps keep the machine clean and ready to brew when it starts back up. That cleaning sequence has been somewhat alerting. We've received feedback that the steam can alert users when they're not expecting that. You can adjust the time until sleep, so sometimes it could be defaulted to 5 hours, or if you adjust that to 7 hours, it may occur later from the last inactivity. And so what we did was we reversed the order of the cleaning of the brew unit path and the milk cleaning path, and that allows for an advanced notice. The brew unit has a little less alarming sound, so you will hear that move first, knowing that the machine is going to go through its cleaning cycle.
Absolutely. We know that that was something that came up a lot with the out-of-box experience, so people were somewhat surprised by that. You just wanted to have a more seamless experience, taking into the customer feedback. Again, all of these updates that we're pushing to everyone's machine are all funneled in from direct user feedback into our engineering team and product team to then make all of these changes. We did get one question here that is it normal for the prompt, the update prompt, to show up a few times?
Yes. This is a known limitation within the architecture. We have it on our radar. We obviously want to make that update only show up once. It does not create any issues for your machine. You can click through it and say update again, and then it will go away.
Amazing. Well, just as a reminder, this is the power of having a connected device here. So, every time you all give us feedback on anything that you want to see improved on the device, and just as far as new feature improvements that you'd like to see, we're able to make modifications, make changes, push it to everybody that has a TKO2 espresso machine. We have drinking from a TKO2 now, nice. Same. We have a question from Leo on how did you make it quieter? I think you just kind of walked through that from the process standpoint, but maybe you could just hit that point again quickly on the switch that happened on the rinse cycle.
On the rinse cycle for milk cleaning, it will release steam, which can be somewhat alerting or surprising for anyone that's not expecting that to happen. So we put that at the back half of the cleaning cycle, and it starts with the brew unit cleaning portion first.
And then we have another question here on any idea when we're going to be able to choose the days for the auto wake and brew. I think this user mentions that on the weekends they aren't necessarily up so early, I think like most of us, and wondering if that capability or functionality is possible.
That's another feature that we have discussed as well. Similar to the previous requested feature, we have limits within the architecture, and we are trying to identify a way of incorporating that. The way our app works with the machine is we send what's called attributes over the cloud, and so the attributes can be a number of different things that tell the machine how to function or what settings to store. And so that's the challenge on this one specifically, is we need to identify how to send attributes for each day of the week or week versus weekends and incorporate that into the architecture of our cloud.
Putting it on the roadmap. Just on that note, one other detail that I want to add for all of those that are joining is we're also, it's not available right now, but one of the things that we are working on is actually a sort of voting system, so to speak, so that we can engage more people on the front end of the development cycle, letting us know which features are most important to them, so creating a sort of upvoting system so that we can create a hierarchy and ranking system of what matters most to all of our kind of TKO2 community, and prioritizing those features in our next development sprint. We have a few more questions that are coming through here. I'm just looking at the phone. We have a question about whether or not there will be an update for hotter temp water option. I'm guessing that's just around, can we make the water hotter, so to speak. I don't believe we have anything right now active on that front. We did push an update in the past that improved that from a thermal block standpoint, but definitely important, just to the same point I was just making. Always valuable to get feedback from people about where they want to see improvements made, where they want to see new features implemented, to take into consideration for our next sprint.
Was that for hot water or for espresso?
They said for hotter temp water, but I suppose hot water.
Yeah, I know we made improvements for espresso. There may be, I'm not making any promises because we have to take a look at this, but there could be a possibility for improvement on hot water based on the flow rate. The same improvement that we made to espresso, we may be able to make to the hot water if we find that is also experiencing the same temperature loss that espresso was.
All right, we got the next question from Sharon asking, the water level low indication seems to happen with a quarter of the water left in the reservoir. Is this normal? I can maybe start that. You want to add additional color. So on that matter, we essentially wanted to design the water tank so that it always has enough water for the largest possible drink that the machine can make. We did have that issue with our previous machine, the TKO1, that was in market, where sometimes the water would get too low, and then people would get frustrated as the brew would not complete, and the machine was not knowing or not aware of the water level being too low at that point. So there was an intentional decision where we did make the water tank overall volume much bigger than our first version, but we wanted to set that sensor at a level where you could brew any possible drink size so that everything could complete before that water sensor alert was showing up on your screen. Is there any additional color you want to add there?
There is, because this one, I think that we discussed this for a while in development. Where's the optimal water level? Do we want to make it high enough to brew all your drinks, or will that create a pain point or a paper cut, what we like to call for our customers? The sensor itself tells the machine when it hits that point. So there may be the possibility of delaying the alert in the future after the sensor is triggered. The only thing is that requires software development, and that goes back to the project that we're looking to roll out, which is ranking the desired features that we can build into new software sprint plans based on our community feedback.
And by the way, I just want to be clear. I mean, we take obviously a lot of pride in this, but it's just a lot of deep well of joy and appreciation of all the feedback, and we want it to be, the brand that is going to actually take all of that feedback in, the good, the bad, the ugly, and layer that into our product development process. Because frankly, there isn't anybody in our space doing anything like this. We want to make ourselves available, open, and transparent about what we're working on, and layer you all more and more into that journey so that your direct feedback is driving our innovation strategy. We have another person here, Bradley, saying, is there any hopes for a TK3 insert take my money GIF or GIF? Never know. We're always working on new stuff, but right now the focus for us is continuing to advance the TKO2. There's still a lot of meat left on that bone, and want to make sure everyone that has one absolutely loves it. So that's a priority for us. It's kind of the opposite of planned obsolescence. We want to make sure that everyone's machine is just getting better with time. Will the machine ever let us know when the beans are low? We have worked on a beta there that is available on the machine. If you go into your machine settings, advanced settings, you should have that availability to you. But understand that there's further refinement needed on that one. We have gotten that feedback as well. So heard on that matter. I don't know if there's any additional color you want to add on that, but
yeah, I believe our beta is defaulted to off. I'd have to double check that. So if you have not been able to test this feature, we definitely encourage the more customers that can test this and provide feedback, the better. We can roll that into next versions for that low bean alert. So that is in your settings menu. It is in the advanced settings menu right above our new grind through feature.
All right, I'm getting I love Terra Cafe, and I love to see it. So thank you all for the kind words. Always obviously makes us excited to see everybody enjoying their machine. We have a comment here that it would be nice to have the milk container having a slight slope inside so all the milk can be sucked up. Again, like I said, we're always working on new things, and like I said, it's always about advancing the O2. And so we might have some exciting things in the pipeline on that matter. I think that's all we can say on that one at this time. But absolutely, Mr. Dance Machine, that is very much on our radar, and great note. Ruby Vet, Urgent Care, loves Terra. Love that. Can I get a free one? No. I'm sorry. Let's see, what else do we have? How long before Gen 3 machine? Again, we're focusing on the O2 right now. I mean, we always like being cheeky over here, but yeah, the O2 is the star of the show. Agree on the milk container, absolutely. Switching from Jer to Terra Cafe. Ooh, let's get that in a review, I'll take it. We have having some issues with the beta milk, the milk beta, I think on the hotter milk temp beta. I know that you can turn that off. That was really more so from a temp control perspective that we wanted to give people the optionality with a new feature in terms of improving the overall temperature. We know for all super autos, the milk is typically where you're gonna see the lower temperatures come in, just by virtue of the brewing methodology. I'm not sure if there's any additional color there, but we're always doing more optimization. So if it's not working, there are certain things that we would end up asking from a troubleshooting standpoint about the milk they're using and so on and so forth. But if it's working without the beta, then perhaps.
There's a couple tips I can add. There's a few lessons learned, we like to call them here when we find something new. Just through the development of that beta, we found that what's interesting is actually colder milk will pull better through your machine. So if you're trying to preheat the milk to get a warmer temperature, you may run into some sputtering issues. You can try preheating, but you may not need the milk beta. So cold milk will always pull better. There is different temperatures in that milk beta for the froth mode, which is turned the dial all the way facing down, and then the non-froth mode or our steamed milk mode, which is turned dial all the way up. Those have different thermal block temperatures, so there could be a delay if you're trying to switch and seeing that real time in the performance. The froth mode is hotter, so I would start on your steamed milk side if you want to change during a drink, and then return that to your steamed milk side for the next drink.
All right, we're getting a lot of comments and questions coming in now. So, do we sell in Colombia? Unfortunately, not yet. But we get a lot of inbound every day from all over the world, so always reach out and we'll add it to our list for our international expansion plans. As far as just John Epstein mentioned that he missed the update on the new grind. Can you just walk through the grind through again? A lot of people have been joining in.
Yep,
just on one of the 3 primary features on v33 firmware that's rolling out right now.
So grind through will be accessible in your advanced settings menu, and you will be able to adjust the grind size, 1 through 5, and the number of repetitions. Each repetition will grind approximately 12 grams from the hopper into the brew unit and then dump that into the waste bin without pumping any fluid through the brew chamber. And that allows you to clear out, as Sahan had mentioned, the retention in your grinder. So if you want to change to beans, but you don't want to waste another shot, you can grind through and then potentially repurpose those grounds for something else. Add them to your plants.
There we go. Beautiful. Again, as a reminder for everyone that's here, we are going to be rolling something out where people can actually upvote different features that we're going to be working on. So all of these things that we're working on historically, things that we'll have on the roadmap, we want to engage everyone as much as possible. A few other quick questions. We saw somebody asking when it's going to hit their machine. Can take up to 2 weeks. Of course, we'd love it to be much faster than that, but that's a limitation from our cloud provider. But it can take up to 2 weeks. Started yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Can the machine brew a 20-gram shot? Unfortunately not, but we do have the biggest brew basket in the category. So as far as brewing the strongest shots for a super auto, Terra Cafe TKO2 has the best brews, highest quality, best precision. machine out there and the biggest brew basket. So if that's important to you, something to take note of.
And don't forget about that beautiful add a shot button.
And add a shot. Always add a shot. And we're only here for a few more minutes. I just want to emphasize for those that are here, I mean, the big thing for us is really hearing what you all have to say. I know there's a number of other questions here. We are focusing on the TKO2 right now. So, that is the update that's going to everyone else's machine. We obviously try to engage with our community as much as possible to take that feedback. We are also working with a few insiders that are kind of beta testers that are really giving us that direct feedback. But I think better than me to speak to that, I'd rather try and see if I can rope somebody in here really quickly. So just give me 1 second. Let me see if Kate's available, who's our CXO, who can give a little bit more feedback on the community side. Kate, you all set? Hey.
Hello, what are we talking about?
We are talking about how we work with our kind of insider community on new features that we're rolling out. I thought maybe you could just tell everyone what that looks like, how it works, and how that funnels into everything that Andrew and the engineering team do.
Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. I don't know who's watching, but if any of our insiders are here, hello, I am one of the people that you talk to on there. So we actually started an application-only group, 6-7 months ago, for people that would get inside access to firmware releases early, inside looking to product development. And we got a lot of applications. We whittled them down, and now we've got a core group of about 70 people. All have TK2s, and then within that 70, we have an even smaller, little subgroup of people who have signed NDAs and waivers of liability, and they're the ones who get the real inside info. They help us every time we release a firmware update. They get it early. They actually get it at the same time as all of the TK employees, and we all kind of QA together. So that's always a really busy few-day period for my team, and then of course for Andrew's team, because I don't think, probably every update we've had so far that we've sent to them, they've caught something. So we like to, ideally squash bugs before they go out to all of the TK2s. So those few days are a little chaotic with my team and I, gathering all that feedback, passing it to Andrew and his team, making last-minute tweaks, and, ultimately, hopefully getting bug-free firmware and software out to everybody, but it's always a work in progress.
That's right.
We might open up applications again.
There we go. Well, we just got a request in here from Jay Hicks to be considered for that group.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on your email. I will chat with the team because we're gonna reopen applications at some point this year, and honestly, in my mind, the sooner the better.
And we just got a hello from an insider. Appreciate you all so much.
We love our insiders. It's my favorite part of what I do.
Thanks for joining.
It's awesome. It's such a good crew. So engaged.
We cannot get enough of it. And we small but mighty team over here that I am incredibly proud of everything that this group has accomplished. We know we're limited. We're not able to roll out every feature right away, and we understand that there are a lot of requests in there. But again, we're the only brand out there that's really constantly updating the machine. This is why we wanted to make sure that the TKO2 from a connectivity standpoint was able to receive all these updates, because we know that we learned so much from our community throughout the many years that we were, initially selling the TKO1 and then, using all of those insights to be building out the TKO2. We wanted to make sure that this machine just continues to get better over time. And that is, what we are all focused on here, and why these types of sessions are so important to us. We know we don't do them regularly. We'd love to be able to do them more, but we are active on all the platforms to try and get as much input from you all as possible to deliver the best output. Simply said.
Did you guys talk about the voting stuff
we did talk about the voting
stuff?
Yes. So, yes, we are.
I'll echo, we have a lot of ideas.
Oh God.
A lot of ideas.
And some of them are hit on in here. So
many ideas.
Wink.
I know. I love when I see people guess what we're already building.
Yep.
Not promising anything, but it happens.
On that matter, I will say that this has been great. Thank you all so much for all the questions and engagement. We love to see just all the commentary. Again, anything and everything that you all want to see developed on the product, or anything that you want to just give us ideas for the future, please send them our way. We'll try and do as many of these as possible. And, you know, I finished my coffee here, you finished yours. I think that's as good a time as any.
That's a wrap.
Guys, you're
That's a
drinking
wrap.
coffee from jars. We have
A
so many
5:30
coffee cups
from
here.
jars. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do love our glassware, but we love a high-low. So
I broke my
Asian
1
jar
p.m.
filling.
caffeine.
I'm sorry?
I said I broke my 1 p.m. caffeine curfew.
Oh.
It's still on brand.